Hello and welcome. I'm Dr. Troy Munson at Infinity Whole Health, and please check out our podcast on revealing wholeness that you will find on many of your favorite podcast sites. Now, tonight, here we are at the end of 2020, and schools have not been open. We have a lot of homeschoolers now that never wanted to be homeschoolers that are now doing this at home. And school has gone from an activity where kids are around their peers and one-on-one with teachers at times, but also in classroom, to now on computer screens for long hours. And even last data, when before all this started happening, the average child was in front of a screen at least 2 hours a day. And now it's going up astronomically. And so, how do we protect ourselves? Well, this goes without saying that yes, we want to protect our kids, but these are great rules for us as adults to follow as well. And so just to give you another statistic, in the late 1800s, when we electrified the world with electricity, we have been increasing RF and EMF frequencies and other types of radiation, crazy amounts coming in every year, more and more and more, whether it's microwaves, whether it's just the lights above us that are shining on us, the computer screens, our cell phones, laptops, personal, iPads and stuff. It's crazy. Gaming consoles. All this stuff is increasing more and more the amount of RF frequencies and electromagnetic frequencies that we're being exposed to. And there is indeed a limit, but part of tonight is how do we protect our kids' eyes from things like eye strain, that you can now have headaches, dry eyes, neck and shoulder pain, blurred vision, allergies, all are a part of it. And I, for one, I know that if I spend 2.5, 3 hours, I'm walking away with blurred vision. And it's wild, and it takes half hour, 45 minutes, and then, okay, my eyes are a little bit better. Sometimes I have to go to sleep. When I wake up, my eyes are fine. I'm thinking, what are we doing to ourselves? And so for tonight, here we are, October 14th, and then on the 28th will be part 2. But for tonight, this is going to be on external things that we can do, that we can help reduce the effects of that eye strain that we're really trying to cope with, because we don't know where this is going in the future. It would be unfortunate that we could have done some minor things here that would have prevented some things in the future. And so again, tonight is part 1, all about external stuff. And then part 2 is going to be, how can we change internal things? What can we do inside that would strengthen my eye's ability to resist, to do antioxidants or other things that would help handle radiation and the effects of that type of ambient radiation that's all happening. Now, here's a statistic. I'm going to throw one more out at you. In the last 10 years alone, it has increased the amount of radiation on the human body by 1 quintillion. That's 18 zeros. It's increased by that much. That's like, how is that even possible? How are we still alive? Well, obviously our bodies can take a lot, but you know what? It's time to start really thinking, how do we not only stop the regular pollution that people are talking about, but the radio frequency pollution that we don't necessarily talk about a whole bunch. And so let's get into it. First and foremost, external considerations. Number 1 is screen height. So, neck and shoulder discomfort. If we have the screen up too far and I'm looking at a document down, I'm now doing this. And this can be over time very difficult for the neck, and we get a lot more shoulder and neck pain. Headaches are coming with that kind of scenario as well. And so it depends on what your usage is. If you are just doing a Zoom meeting, then I would have you aim to be looking at the center of the screen at eye level. But most people, if they do any reading of articles or find out, I thought it was supposed to be the top of the screen was supposed to be at eye level. Yes, if you're looking at documentation. So if I'm going to look at the center of a screen and down, I'm going to be a little bit down. I'm not moving very much. But if I'm doing a lot of meetings and viewing and up here and even reading on my laptop or on a computer screen, we want to be looking up more and comfortable. Even when I enjoy online games just like everybody else, or most of us. And so my TV is actually up a little bit higher. I want to relax back in a chair and play, some of the mindless games that I play just to let loose and relax. And so if that's you, you may adjust the screen and do that. I have numerous clients now with multiple screens. And so the most dominant screen you want more closely in front of you. Some with 3 screens, definitely the stuff that they've got most is in front of them, and they're looking each direction at the other screen. So these are also things that are happening out there. Hopefully as children, we have kids that we're only having them on one screen, but oftentimes what will they have in their hand? Yet another screen. They'll have their phone with them. Sometimes they'll be texting. On a break, they might watch a video or do something. And so I'm going to talk about in just a moment, let's discuss some Wi-Fi options too that may make more sense for us. Now next is screen distance. Overall, you'll see research out there that says anywhere from 18 to 28 inches. The further away, the better. I've already done all the research that says, hey, the closer to that screen that I get, the more increase in radio frequency or EMF waves that you're getting, and it can be substantial. I was shocked. Even at like 4 inches, it's quite a bit. At a foot, it's better, but at 2 feet, it's much better. So I'd be aiming for that 2-foot mark for if it's my kid, because I want to make sure that they're at least far enough away from that screen to protect the eyes, again, radiation and whatnot. The next thing is contrast. The lower the contrast, the harder it is to read, and the more we may be straining with our eyes. So we want a little bit higher contrast to see the difference between white and black, especially doing a lot of reading. And again, the ambient light in the room becomes important. I've moved most of my screens now to an amber type of look. I don't like them blue. Even my cell phone, I keep it on amber constantly. It just is softer and easier on my eyes, I notice. I'm used to it now. I don't even notice the video quality being different or less bright, but I do notice that my eyes are not bothered as much. So I encourage you with your kids to definitely consider this type of an idea, at least turning their screens to amber, or at least more amber, more red. Next is I read a lot on a 20-20-20 rule. Some of you may have even heard of it. So we're going to every 20 minutes, look away from the computer screen at something 20 feet away, and we're going to do it for 20 seconds, just to give our eyes a break so that we can focus on something far away and start retraining those muscles of our iris to be better. Because if we're staying at one distance too long, it's not good for our eyes. And so that can create eye strain. In 2 weeks, when we talk about internal things, I'm going to cover the aspect of dry eyes. Right now, I'm just going to give you a quick preview. Dry eyes typically is a calcium and infection type thing, and we're going to talk about what do we do for that. How can we boost immune function? How can we get more calcium into our diet and start beginning to protect that? What other symptoms should I be looking for if I believe I might be calcium deficient? So we'll discuss all that in 2 weeks, so do stay tuned for that one. Now, the next two, or rather the last two, are what do we do to try to eliminate all of those RF and EMF frequency or radiation frequencies in my house, in my home, on my computers. Now, one thing that I've done in my home is started to go hardwire everything. So my computers, I'm beginning the process of making sure even laptops are hardwired. Once you hardwire a laptop though, you need to disable your Wi-Fi, because it will continue to ping and try to run and look for Wi-Fi signals. And for most of us, if we're doing schoolwork with our kids during the day, we really shouldn't have the Wi-Fi on. They really shouldn't be on their cell phone messing around, honestly. I mean, I know my daughter does. And again, she's doing homeschool stuff and I trust her, but you know what? If we're doing school, then let's do school and let's not have cell phones active and pinging Wi-Fi. And again, if we turn the Wi-Fi off in the house, yet again, no more waves are running through our home and causing problems. Then at night, if when we go to sleep, we also turn off the Wi-Fi router, we're now helping out even more. So our Wi-Fi is literally off except for 8 hours a day when we're actually not doing school and not sleeping, when we're actually saying, you know what, I'm going to watch television or whatever. If you have a smart TV, hardwire it. Why have it pinging constantly looking for a Wi-Fi signal that it's sending out that signal, that EMF frequency? There are many ways that we can limit the amount of Wi-Fi that we use, which is wonderful. So again, at least sleep 20 feet away from your Wi-Fi if you're not going to turn it off at night. That would be a must. And so if you can keep it away from you, great. Be a great thing to do. Last is my daughter's guilty of this. She'll put the laptop right on her lap. Like, Why would you do that? So that's even more of a reason why I want to hardwire those laptops, because we tend to put them on us. Yes, they're still producing some amount of electrical radiation because of all of the churning of the electricity through the processor, through the other components of the computer. So it's heating up your lap. That's another type of RF frequency. Not to mention Wi-Fi is separate. Those are two distinctly separate things. So try to get the laptop off of you, so the heat's not radiating you. We know that if a laptop or even a cell phone is in a front pocket, research out there shows men in sperm motility is dropped in half within 2 hours of having a cell phone in the front pocket or a laptop on the lap. So be cautious with these things. I mean, do they do some sort of damage? Obviously. What exactly, we'll eventually find out, but as this research comes out, it is wise for us to say, you know what, I need to totally start doing some things different, not running around helter-skelter and afraid and fearful, but just understanding, okay, if this is the time we live in, how can I limit the exposure that I'm getting in as many ways as possible? That is always the best ideal, especially since 1 quintillion increase in the last 10 years of all these frequencies running through, whether cell phone towers, whether Wi-Fi in our house. It's a lot. There is likely a limit, but so let's be wise about it. So that is how to protect our kids, but also us as well, part 1. And again, I'm going to point out as part 2, we're going to go into the nutritional aspects. So some of you that are wondering, what can I do nutritionally to protect? We're going to talk about what do radiation workers do? What can we do inside the body to help our DNA not be changed or tweaked or altered because of these frequencies that tend to do that to our DNA? What are these microwaves doing running through our body? And then how do we protect ourselves from it? So again, any questions, concerns about what I already listed? I didn't talk about Gauss or millirems or all that, but if you're wondering some of those numbers, feel free to contact me. Happy to give you some of the data on that. There's so much out there. And until next time, I'm Dr. Troy Munson at Infinity Whole Health. Thank you.